Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of The Surfer's Journey. Today's episode is all about how to surf small waves, how to make the most of those subpar conditions. And we're going to look at it from a surfer's perspective, so you can visualize and imagine what it's going to be like when you're up and riding on a wave. And I think this will make it a lot easier to understand and help improve your surfing faster. And guys, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe now so that you stay up to date with all of our latest tutorials. Surfing is all about having fun with your friends in any kind of conditions. But most surfers don't like surfing small waves. But if we can figure out what equipment to use and how to surf small waves better, then we can have more fun and surf more often. It's a win-win. It's a reality for many surfers that more often than not, the waves are small, grovelly and fat. So it makes sense that we should spend time learning how to surf those kind of conditions as best as we can. Every opportunity to practice is an opportunity that you have to improve your surfing, but also you want to have fun in those conditions. You don't want to see those days and think, nah, I'm not going out. That's a wasted opportunity. So to make the most of those smaller days, there are a few key skills that a surfer needs to have to make the most of those conditions. Let's have a closer look at what some of those skills are. Wave selection is hard to teach, but by using point of view, you guys can see exactly what I see and I look for. Makes it easier to understand. So what I'm looking for is a steep section of the wave, which I can see right here. And if I look to my right, I can see that it's flatter. So I know that the wave's going to break towards the right, and I want to take off on that steep section. By doing that, it allows me to perform multiple maneuvers before the wave closes out. And I'm looking at the lip to see what the lip's doing. I also can see by looking down the line if that wave's going to break, and I can adjust my speed accordingly. If we have a look at this example here, you can see the waves doing the opposite. It's steep to my right and flat to my left, so I know that it's going to break to the left. So I take off and go in that direction. But in this case, as I look down the line, it's about to close out. So I perform a maneuver on that closeout section. As you can see here, this is a closeout. I look to the left and the right, and it's steep the whole way across, so I know it's going to shut down. It's not going to allow for multiple maneuvers, but sometimes that's as good as it's going to get. And we can still practice maneuvers on closeout sections like this. Good wave selection means that you're able to say no to waves much like this and paddle to better waves like this. By knowing what to look for, it's going to help you catch the best wave of the day, whether that's a wave that allows for multiple maneuvers or a wave that only allows for one turn. You've got to make the most of the conditions on that day. And don't think that closeout sections only limit you to re-entries or floaters. They can also allow you to practice carves like this. You just have to practice your timing and mix it up. By practicing and refining our single maneuvers on a closeout, we can then link them together on those bigger, better days. So now that we understand what waves we're looking for and the waves that we want to catch, now we need to know where to take off on those waves. And that's where we talk about peak positioning. As you can see here, that was my friend taking off on a wave that had already broken. And because he wasn't on the initial peak, it meant that he took off on the shoulder. Well, this section here is the peak of the wave because it's that initial breaking section. And just to the right of that is what we call the shoulder. Ideally, surfers want to take off on a peak, much like my friend here, because that allows you to take off with maximum speed, and it means that you're going to take off close to the pocket. In this example here, you can see someone who's up and riding, and you see that wave spilling in front of him. Well, that's a section. And when we're presented with a section, we can turn much like this. And performing a maneuver on a steeper section means that that maneuver is more critical, and it often looks a lot better. Here you can see I'm looking to see where the steepest part of this wave is, because that's where I want to take off. That's the peak of the wave. By taking off on the peak, I'm already close to the pocket and I've got maximum speed and power, and my maneuvers are going to look better, feel better, and be more critical. So we understand what waves to catch, and we know where we need to take off on those waves. Now let's discuss what kind of maneuvers you can perform on different sections. Here you can see a flatter section, so I'm going to do a roundhouse cutback back to the foam. But I want to get over these sections, so instead of going around, I'm going to try and float them or do little foam climbs to get around those sections and hopefully get past them. It's better to do that because you maintain your speed better than if you just went around. In this example here, we see that I catch a much better wave, a really good left-hander. Where possible, a surfer is aiming to link their maneuvers together as smoothly as they can with as little downtime as they can. I want to stay close to the pocket because that gives me maximum power, speed, and better sections. So when it's a flatter section, I carve back to the foam, and when the lip throws out, I put my board up onto that lip. It's called a re-entry. And when it's a bit of downtime, I try and generate speed for the next section. There are no set rules with surfing, and you can perform whatever maneuver you want on whatever section you want. I would recommend trying different things on different sections. And once you get confident, you can start trying new maneuvers, or you can start performing your old maneuvers on bigger, more critical sections. And practicing this in small waves is a good way to do it. It's a good way to build up your confidence, because we know that the consequences if we fall are quite minimal.
Your choice of equipment plays a massive part in how much success you have when you surf small waves. If you're on a really high performance surfboard or a really low volume board, you may find that you struggle a lot in smaller conditions. You might struggle to even catch a wave, you might struggle to catch speed, or you might find that when you stand up, the board feels like it's sinking. So what kind of surfboard should you be riding on those smaller days?
There are so many different surfboards available, and you could surf whatever you wanted on any given day. But from my experience, the boards that go best in small waves are boards like this. Here you can see my mate has a mid-length, and you can see my other friend has a high volume fish. I like to surf high volume fishes when it's really small and grovelly, because I find that they generate speed better, they're better paddlers, and ultimately, I have more fun on these boards when the waves are small, slow, and grovelly. If you have the choice though, I would try as many different boards as possible to see what works best for you.
Guys, thanks for watching the video today. I hope that it's helped you understand what you need to do to surf small waves better. There are a lot of benefits to spending time in those kind of conditions. Remember to like the video and comment below to let me know what other videos you'd like to see. Thanks guys.